Now that we made it to 2020, I felt like it's time to recap and rewind and talk about the top 10 fragrances that I received the most compliments from. This in no way guarantees you'll get compliments from these fragrances. These are just ones that I wore that people made comments that range from "you smell nice" to "what do you have on?" because that's fantastic. If you're interested in what I got the most compliments from and what might work for you, go ahead and stay tuned and stick around. What's up, everybody? My name is Joshua and this is our channel, ScentSense. To all my loyal subscribers who continue to watch these videos every time I upload them, to you fine folks wherever you are, thank you. And to all you new people who continue to join the family each and every day, I hope you stick around. And to you even newer people who may be watching this video and it may be the very first time you've ever checked our channel out, we're very transparent. We talk about what we love here. And if you're all about that and you're not about fluff, go ahead and stick around. Today I'll be talking about the top 10 fragrances, 5 from the niche world, 5 from the designer world that I wore last year that were really fan favorites. These are fragrances that people such as my parents, people I work with, my wife, or just random strangers in a Walmart or wherever gave me compliments. Compliments are not always exaggerated like most people will say. No one's walking up to me trying to sleep with me because I smell nice. They just told me I smelled very good, or I smelled pleasant, or they liked what I was wearing. And that at the end of the day is kind of what you're going for the most part. It's not the focal point, of course. You have to smell good for yourself. But at the end of the day, everyone wants to smell pleasant. That's why we take baths. That's why we wash our hands. I hope you wash your hands. Starting off the list is a fragrance that I wore not too long ago while it was still cold, from the house of PACO Rabanne's 1 Million PRIVE. 1 Million PRIVE takes the sweetness, the overbearingness of 1 Million, tones it down, and makes it sexy. That's the only way to describe it. I could go into detail, but I'd be wasting your time. If you're looking for something that smells like 1 Million, but has more of a smooth, seductive, and alluring type of vibe to it, this is going to be the best bang for your buck. This is still sweet, but think more of like a liqueur, more like a nice mixed drink. This is gonna smell like something you would wear to a nice nightcap. Maybe you're going to meet some girl you've never met before and you wanna make a nice first and lasting impression. Easily a great fragrance to reach for. Starting off the list at number 10, 1 Million PRIVE. At number 9 is a fragrance that I love because it tones down what I find to be a slightly overbearing fragrance. This fragrance brings a freshness to a fragrance that is often known as a fall classic. I find that the freshness that's added to this makes it wearable almost year-round. This is something that I wore to try out when I first got it, and I got tons and tons of great responses. From the house of VICKTOR and ROLF, we're talking about SPICEBOMB Fresh. Sadly, from what I understand and I heard recently, this has either been discontinued or will be discontinued. So if you want to get your hands on it, you should go do that now. I'm sorry for the rattling, but it's going to happen the whole time I'm talking about it because every time I move my hand, it happens. This takes a lighter approach to a much heavier, denser, and spicier fragrance in SPICEBOMB. If I had to draw a comparison to people, this is a younger, more vibrant brother of the slightly stuffy and overbearing older brother, SPICEBOMB. If you're a fan of SPICEBOMB and you're looking for something that's a little lighter and easier to wear throughout the year, go ahead and reach for my number 9 choice for most complimented fragrances, SPICEBOMB Fresh. At number 8 is a fragrance that I got towards the tail end of summer last year, and in Louisiana, fall is kind of a fake season for us. It kind of is longer portion of summer. It bleeds into winter, but for the most part, it's still hot as hell. This fragrance I wore slightly into fall. Even though it may not have made a fall list, it's definitely something that I reached for because it was still hot. Anyway, from the house of Dolce & Gabbana, Light Blue Sun. Light Blue Sun is light blue with more citrus and a large dose of grapefruit. Many who know me know I love notes of coconut, grapefruit, and fig. This, in my opinion, is a summer classic already. I think this is something you should reach for. It's definitely already dropped in price. You can get this off of FragranceNet for like $45, $50, around there. This is something that you should definitely reach for if you're looking for something for summer as it approaches. This is gonna be a great fragrance for making a great lasting impression. It's super different, but yet still grounded in the light blue family. Go ahead and check it out. From the house of Dolce & Gabbana, Light Blue Sun. At number 7 is a fragrance that didn't receive any less compliments than number 1 or any more compliments than number 10. But at the end of the day, it is a great Swiss Army knife, all-purpose fragrance, and it's definitely great for a younger guy. From the house of Versace, we're talking about Dylan Blue. I don't have much left in the bottle. It's full to about right here. I don't know if that can be picked up in the camera, but this is something that I wear that's an easy grab. Having a large collection, sometimes I tend to stay there and stand and stare and say, man, what am I gonna wear? And at the end of it, I just get exhausted and just grab this guy. This is a quintessential fragrance if you're looking for something that's just easy to wear and an all-purpose fragrance. I think this takes the place of fragrances such as Dior Sauvage, YSL, or Prada Luna Rossa Carbon. Not saying it's better than those, I'm just saying it fits that bill. The best part about this fragrance is you can get 2 to 3 bottles of this for the same price as you would pay for the ones I previously mentioned. You'll have to go to the gray market, calm down, you can't do that at Dillard's, breathe. At number 7 from the house of Versace, Versace's Dylan Blue. At number 6 is yet again another fragrance that has been discontinued. I grabbed this thing as fast as I could before the price continued to skyrocket. It's easily one of the best buys that I made in quite some time. It's a very small bottle, but I'm gonna cherish it. From the house of Armani, Acqua di Gio, ESSENZA. The difference in the bottle, as you can see, it's not frosted. It's got the silver cap. It says ESSENZA right here, if I'm not mistaken, in a black lettering. This is a woodier version of Acqua di Gio. Acqua di Gio, Acqua di Gio, however you say it, everyone knows it. It's that frosted bottle that has been around forever. In my opinion, this brings a little more uniqueness to it and makes it a little bit better. I would definitely reach for this one before I reach for the classic. In fact, I don't even own the classic because I own this one. So rounding out the designer choices for fragrances from 2019 that were the most complimented, from the house of Armani, Acqua di Gio, ESSENZA. At number 5 is a fragrance that I picked up a partial of. So no, when I show you the liquid level on this, I didn't burn the bottle down that low in the short period of time this fragrance was out. But from the house of Creed, at number 5, Aventus Cologne. Aventus Cologne basically said, we're gonna take the Aventus DNA that can be challenging to some people who are outside of the bubble that is fragrance community and add some freshness to it and add a little bit of the vibe of what you would get from a L'Homme Sport or the Dior Sauvages of the world. It essentially made it more commercial. For the most part, this is pretty much Aventus and a L'Homme Sport added together. This got pretty much positive response across the board. The people who have smelled Aventus on me and don't like it and smelled this knew they smelled something that they've smelled before, but they thought it was a little bit better or a little bit different. I even had people ask me, is that a clone of Aventus? People who are close to me and know about fragrances a little bit more than the average Joe. And I said, no, this is actually a new release that brought a little bit of freshness and youthfulness to Creed Aventus. Starting off my niche fragrances from the house of Creed, Aventus Cologne. At number 4 is what I call a more masculine Baccarat Rouge 540. This, in my opinion, is the quintessential alternative to Baccarat Rouge 540. From the house of TIZIANA TERENZI, Spirito Fiorentino. This is going to add a super strong and sharp leather note right out the gates that is going to almost smell like a burnt plastic. I know that sounds weird. Or burnt leather. It's very, very strong and even slightly smoky, but that's gonna dry out. And then you're gonna get that sweetness that you expect from 540. This, in my opinion, is a more masculine, a more appealing version of 540. And for me, it tends to lean, like I said, more masculine and makes it more acceptable and approachable to people who aren't privy to the world of fragrance. At number 4 is the more macho version of 540, Spirito Fiorentino. At number 3 is a fragrance that I received the most compliments for when it came to uniqueness. No one knew what it was, no one had ever smelled anything like it, and everyone wanted to know more about it. From the house of ETAT Libre d'Ange, the fragrance is You or Someone Like You. A lot of you may know I rant and rave about this fragrance, but that's because no one knows what's in it, but everyone knows that they smell mint. This is ultra unique, and the perfumer who made this has not released the notes, so most people aren't even privy to that. At the end of the day, I can tell you it is a ultra fresh, ultra unique, super strong mint fragrance that is going to last forever and will work perfect in the months of spring and summer. Coming in at number 3 from the house of ETAT Libre d'Orange, You Are Someone Like You. At number 2 is a very youthful, juicy, and bright fragrance. It highlights the notes of watermelon and fig. Yes, I know that's weird. It sounds like a weird combination, but they work and marry together perfectly. Going from G to C to D and to E, and even dropping a little bit of A in there, you're gonna get notes that blend together perfectly in this fragrance, just like music notes that blend perfectly in a song. From the house of JUSBOX, the fragrance is Feel and Chill. Feel and Chill is a fragrance that was made by the house of JUSBOX, a fragrance house that makes fragrances based on and inspired by music or times in music. This is a super strong, long-lasting, fresh fragrance that has a very unique twist of watermelon and fig. The fig is super juicy and the watermelon, of course, is even juicier. This is gonna be something that's very vibrant and very alive. If you're looking for a fragrance that's gonna get you a ton of positive reaction, but also is gonna look perfect on your fragrance counter or your fragrance bookshelf or wherever you store them and display them, go for JUSBOX Feel and Chill. At number 1 is a fragrance that I have gotten the most, maybe overboard, compliments from. I've been told by older women that I smell delicious and their eyes didn't sound the way their mouth did. They were insinuating some stuff. I'm pretty sure you picking up what I'm putting down. From the house of Tom Ford, at number 1, Oud Wood. I must say, when it comes to this fragrance, I don't think there's a more alluring, seductive, and sexy fragrance that just feels like in the DNA of this fragrance is actual, literal, passionate sex. I try to keep it PG on this fragrance channel, but at the end of the day, I'm just being honest with you. This is something that I feel is so perfectly made for being an attractive man who's not being overbearing, who's sure of himself, but also is very warming and welcoming. This is an ultra balanced fragrance for an ultra balanced man. So if you're looking for something that's going to attract the opposite sex or the same sex if you're into that kind of thing, from the house of Tom Ford, my most complimented and most overboard complimented fragrance of 2019, Oud Wood. All right, guys, that about does it for me. Those are my top 10 most complimented fragrances from last year. Hopefully, we'll get a new top 10 this year. I'm going to try some new things. I'm sure I'm going to pick things up for this year. I'm sure I'm going to let things go this year. So we're going to go ahead and check this out again next year when we talk about this year. If you made it this far in the video, that tells me you're interested in what you see. So if you want to continue to see this, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to the channel? While you're at it, go ahead and turn on post notifications by clicking the bell. It's right next to the word subscribe. That way when my videos come out, you will be the first to know. And while you're at it, go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what fragrances from this list definitely didn't work for you and what fragrances did. And also, what are some fragrances that aren't on this list that you would suggest that you got great responses from? All right, again, I thank y'all so much. But most importantly and lastly, I'll smell each and every one of you later. Peace.